President Bola Tinubu says his administration will in 2024 work diligently to make sure that every Nigerian feels the impact of government. The president is particular about the economic aspirations and material well-being of the poor, the most vulnerable and the working people, which he promises will not be neglected. President Tinubu made the pledges earlier on Monday morning in a nationwide broadcast to usher in the new year. Kehinde Amodu takes a clinical look at the speech in this report.
Who work hard every day to provide for themselves and their families.
There is nothing new about the president's New Year broadcast. He is acknowledging, as he has done many times in 2023, that the twin decisions to remove fuel subsidy and deregulate the foreign exchange system has brought some discomfort to individuals, families, and businesses. But he is pleading with Nigerians to use the current circumstances to strengthen their resolve to work better for the good of the nation.
Dear compatriots, take this from me. The time may be rough and tough. However, our spirit must remain unbowed because tough times never last. We are made for this period, never to flinch, never to falter. The socio-economic challenges of today should energize and rekindle our love and faith in the promise of Nigeria.
President Tinubu says he is aware that for some time now conversations and debates have centered on the rising cost of living, high inflation, which is now above 28%, and the unacceptable high underemployment rate. But he says the last 7 months of 2023 were used to lay the groundwork of his administration's economic recovery plans, and government is now poised to accelerate the pace of service delivery across sectors. Areas of focus include delivery of reliable supply of electricity to homes and businesses under the Presidential Power Initiative and the cultivation of 500,000 hectares of farmlands across the country to grow maize, rice, wheat, millet, and other stable crops.
To ensure constant food supply, security, and affordability, we will step up our plan to cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland across the country to grow maize, rice, wheat, millet, and other staple crops. We launched the dry season farming with 120,000 of land in Jigawa State last November under our National Wheat Development Program.
Meanwhile, the president is particular about operating a more efficient tax system to increase government revenue.
And this new year, we will race against time to ensure all the fiscal and tax policies reforms we need to put in place are codified and simplified to ensure the business environment does not destroy value. On every foreign trip I have embarked on,
just one paragraph is dedicated to security, with the president insisting that the situation has improved. In the same breath, the president admits that security forces have silently worked to free captives from abductors, which tallies with what is evident to all, that the administration has not been able to contain insecurity in the country. Though the president's New Year message is rich with inspirational quotes, it still falls far short of providing specific solutions that will inspire the people at their lowest ebb. From the federal capital, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Now, despite the hard experiences of 2023, many Nigerians stayed up late to usher in the new year 2024 with excitement and fanfare. The European-style tradition of fireworks at 12 midnight as the clock countdown has become part of the New Year festivity in Nigeria as state governments join the celebrations with citizens. Now let's take a look at how 2024 was welcomed in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. Now, the holiday season is traditionally a time for people to celebrate with loved ones, and either at home or at recreation centers. However, there are some who spend the festive period working and trying to earn a living despite the extended Christmas and New Year holidays. Trust TV's Adam Imam visited Gombe and Bauchi Motor Parks for this report.
During our visit to the park, passengers' numbers were not as high as expected. Stakeholders including Hassan Sani, a member of the NURTW, and Ahmed Saleh, a driver, share insights with Trust TV, shedding light on the challenges they face during the holiday season. The increase in the cost of living has really affected almost every aspect of life. During last year's Yuletide, passengers crowded here, but this year there is a significant reduction. This is because of the hike in the price of petroleum products. We drivers usually load from the park and collect money from passengers when we enter filling stations to buy fuel. But this time around, the money is not even enough to get fuel that will take you to your destination and back. Hence, we have to increase the fares. Passengers lamenting, we are also lamenting. That is where we are right now. Additionally, hawkers and food vendors in this category share their experiences amidst the high inflation rate of food items, especially during festive period or at the end of the year. Everything you see is a direct implication of the removal of fuel subsidy. People are suffering. A measure of rice is now 1,200. Before now, it was 700 naira and at most 800 naira. We don't know what will happen next because we realize that even the price of crude oil will increase in the market. The market is not encouraging at all. By this time last year, my food would have finished, but that is not the case this year. This is because of the hike in fuel price. Even drivers think twice before buying our food because they are thinking of saving their money. Passengers do patronize us. In fact, my meat usually finish before 3 o'clock. Despite the hardship, people buy suya at the motor park here. We are about 7 to 8 people selling suya here, and all of us are patronized. Passengers don't buy sugarcane now like they did before due to the prevailing economic situation in the country. Furthermore, they express concern over the current situation, attributing it to the lingering high cost of living resulting from the removal of fuel subsidy. The common man, they emphasize, is still feeling the economic heat. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Now, on security matters, the terrorist responsible for the November 19 attack on the convoy of Yobe State Governor Maimala Buni have been successfully neutralized, as confirmed by Major General Edward Buba, the spokesperson for the Defense Headquarters. Responding to an inquiry, Buba stated that the terrorists in the location have been destroyed in a targeted operation. The governor's convoy was ambushed while en route from Maiduguri to Damaturu. Despite the governor's absence, high-ranking government officials, including the secretary to the Yobe State government and the special advisor on religious affairs, were present. During the attack, a policeman was killed and several others, including a soldier, sustained injuries and were hospitalized. In a subsequent statement on November 20, General Buba reported that troops pursued the terrorists, successfully recovering the vehicles they had hijacked from the convoy. The police in Lagos State have arrested a man who allegedly paraded himself as a police officer before a commercial motorcyclist whom he allegedly defrauded the sum of 670,000 naira. The command's public relations officer, SP Benjamin Hundeyin, confirmed the arrested news agency of Nigeria on Sunday. Hundeyin said that the suspect was arrested after information about his activities was received for allegedly printing fake police ID cards and issuing the same to some motorcyclists who paid him between 50,000 naira and 70,000 naira. He said that the purpose of issuing them the card was to serve as police errand boys should they be stopped at any security checkpoint, particularly at police checkpoints. The police spokesman further said that the suspect confessed to the crimes, stressing that the cards printed were given to motorcyclists at Ojo, Okukumaiko, Ajangbadi, Axis of Lagos, and collected the amount from the victims. Hundein said that the suspect will be charged to court upon completion of the investigation. Now, according to the United Nations Industrial Organization, Nigeria generates over 32 million tons of waste annually, with plastic accounting for 2.5 million tons. The alarming issue of poor waste management is a significant concern for residents of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. In Karu, Abuja, residents are calling on the FCT administration to urgently order the evacuation of a substantial waste deposit near the Karu Muslim cemetery to restore sanitation to the area. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This substantial waste bin is situated just off a major expressway in the Karu area of the federal capital, Abuja, dangerously close to the Karu Muslim cemetery. The waste, consisting of plastic, leather, and leftovers, emits an unpleasant smell, polluting the air. Business operators and residents in the vicinity emphasize that the poor waste dump site poses significant health risk.
You can see that dustbin over there. I believe that government, somebody owns the contract to be packing that dustbin every Monday or every week. But as you see, that dustbin there has been there for more than 2 months. Nobody is packing it. And anytime they will come to pack it, the trucks that will convert those dirty from that place, you see them, they will splash everything on this road to where they will go and dump the dustbin, which is very bad.
And we want the minister of the FCT to come and see this place by himself, because the people they gave the job they are not functioning. To give a person a job or a contract, and you don't come and check if the person is doing it appropriately. So this place is causing a hazard to human health, which is not good. For example, this place can cause cholera to human health.
Residents, having staged a peaceful protest demanding the allocation of a new dump site away from the residential areas, expressed frustration at the lack of intervention by the FCT management.
If government can find another place that is very secured to be packing all these things, and mostly we here in Karu, the majority of the dustbin bring around is from Karo side, Federal Housing, Jukwe, all they are coming to dump it here. And the place is purposely for burial ground parking space. Message to the minister, we've been seeing all these kind of things. We hope that the work he did in the rivers will reflect here in FCT, but up to now, we have not seen anything on ground.
Expert highlights that inadequate waste management can lead to the spread of diseases and contribute to environmental degradation. Our World in Data, a research organization, reports that less than 12% of waste generated in Nigeria is recycled, with approximately 80% ending up in landfills and unregulated dump sites. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Agency, acting on behalf of the federal government, has dispelled rumors regarding a proposed electricity tariff hike set for January 1, 2024. A spokesperson for NERC, Usman Abba, clarified the government's position on Sunday, refuting any official order issued to electricity distribution companies for an impending tariff increase. This clarification follows widespread speculation and concern surrounding the alleged directive, with NERC aiming to provide transparency and address public apprehension. The president of the Nigerian Consumer Protection Network, Kunle Olubio, voiced strong reservations against any potential electricity tariff increase. Olubio emphasized the perceived irresponsibility of such a move, considering the existing economic challenges faced by Nigerians, including the recent fuel subsidy removal, rising inflation and other economic reforms. This reaction comes in the wake of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's decision in November 2023 to halt the implementation of a new electricity tariff, advocating instead for a power sector subsidy. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. ECOWAS sanctions on Niger Republic leave border communities in economic crisis. Details and more after the break.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Here's a reminder of our top stories. President Tinubu says tough times never last in first New Year broadcast. Plus, fireworks and celebrations as Nigerians step into 2024 with hope. In other news, now residents of border communities in Katsina State say that they are feeling the pains of the present economic crunch in the country due to border closure and fuel subsidy removal. According to them, the continuous closure of the border with Niger Republic frustrates them and the Nigerian economy as a whole. Abdullahi Ahmadi visited the affected communities in Katsina State and sent in this report.
Life here has turned to the survival of the fittest, as the struggle to make ends meet is enormous and requires one to have the energy and to be fearless in confronting border officials. The residents accused the government of making policy decisions which contributed to the collapse of the socio-economic setting of the border communities. This is Brennan Kuka, a border control post in Mashi local government, where security men prevented Trust TV news crew from taking pictures, but residents protested, accusing officers of extortion. Since the border closure in August, citizens of the two countries have resorted to transporting goods and services with ox carts through illegal routes after paying huge amount of money to border security operatives. We're in a sorry state at the moment. We don't have anything due to this economic crisis occasioned by border closure. I am from Niger Republic, but before I cross in and out, I have to settle security men. The situation is unbearable. Besides enduring harsh economic realities, The border communities are also battling with perennial water shortage, lack of social amenities, and unbearable living costs, with many looking malnourished. Everywhere within the border communities, we are suffering from multiple problems, socially, economically, etc. Sometimes we think whether we are really Nigerians because we are treated badly. From Jibia to Dankama, Kongolam up to Babamutum, we are treated like animals. What is our offense? Is it because we are Nigerians? Suffering everywhere. We want the government that sends security men to border communities to ensure effective supervision and monitoring of its officials. I don't want to comment on their conduct, but let there be justice and fairness. Residents of Niger Republic often cross into Nigerian villages with little amount of money to buy basic goods and go back to their country. Observers say the continuous land border closure has crushed the northern economy, subjecting many to untold hardship, leaving locals at the mercy of security operatives feeding fat from extortion. Abdullahi Izuma Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
All right. Now, banks are set to charge customers stamped duty on old foreign transactions between January 2021 to December 2023 by the end of January 2024. This is according to a directive from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and Access Bank disclosed this in a recent letter to its customers. According to the bank, the electronic money transfer levy was only applicable to accounts receiving electronic deposits of 10,000 naira and above or its equivalent. It, however, noted that starting from January 2024, the deduction will now extend to foreign currency inflows equivalent of 10,000 naira and above. Based on this new rule, stamp duty will apply to foreign transactions of $11.02 and above. The EMT levy was introduced in the Finance Act 2020, which amended the Stamp Duty Act and aims to improve government revenue from the growth of electronic funds transfer in Nigeria. And away from Nigeria, in a recent development, the Japan Meteorological Agency reported seismic activity off the coast of Ishikawa and neighboring prefectures, with one quake registering a preliminary magnitude of 7.6. And that is, the agency promptly issued a major tsunami warning for Ishikawa and lower level tsunami warnings or advisories for the western coast of the island of Honshu. NHK TV, Japan's public broadcaster, urgently cautioned of potential waves reaching heights of up to 5 meters and advised residents to seek refuge on higher ground or the top of nearby buildings swiftly. NHK further noted that the possibility of recurring tsunami waves with warnings persisting nearly an hour after the initial alert. The government is scheduled to hold a news conference alert in the day, and as of now, reports on damages are not immediately available. Niigata and other prefectures along the western coast of Japan anticipate a tsunami of approximately 3 meters. NHK has already confirmed smaller tsunami waves reaching the coastline. And in sports news, Arsenal's hopes of finishing 2023 top of the table were dashed as goals from Raul Jimenez and Bobby De Cordova-Reid secured a memorable 2-1 comeback win for Fulham, their first ever the Gunners in 12 years. Bukayo Saka gave Arsenal a perfect start with the opening goal in 5 minutes, but Jimenez levelled after 29 minutes and De Cordova-Reid 59th minute finish turned the match on its head to condemn Mikel Arteta's side to back-to-back defeats, leaving the Gunners in fourth on 40 points. Fulham made the 3 changes to the side, beating at AFC Bournemouth on Boxing Day. Jimenez was back after completing a 3-match ban, while William returned from a hamstring issue to face his former club, and Timothy Castage replaced Kenny Tete at right back. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.